R.C. answered this next question here on our Renewing Your Mind broadcast, and here's the question. Since Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this earth," why should Christians care or be involved with political issues?
In Jesus' discussion during his interrogation by Pontius Pilate, he did make that statement that his kingdom was not of this world. It doesn't mean it's not real. You know, the last question the disciples asked Jesus before he departed in the ascension was, "Lord, will you now restore the kingdom to Israel?" And it seems that people take Jesus' answer to mean, well, no, that kingdom that I'm establishing will not take place for 2,000 or 3,000 years, and that the idea of the kingdom of God is completely future. That concept, I think, utterly destroys the teaching of the New Testament with respect to the breakthrough of the kingdom of God that came to pass with Jesus' earthly ministry. It reached its climax with his ascension to the right hand of God, where he was invested and coronated as the King of the Kings and the Lord of the Lords. Now, when Jesus was asked that question, are you now going to restore the kingdom of Israel? He didn't say, I'm not going to have a kingdom. He said, you shall be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, all to the ends of the earth. And so the church's responsibility right now is to bear witness to the reigning kingdom of Christ and call attention to all earthly governments, that no authority on this earth can exist apart from the King of Kings, to whom every judge, every dog catcher, every senator, every congressman, every governor, every president, every premier, every prime minister will be held accountable. So, as part of the task of bearing witness to Christ, we are called to bring the light of the gospel to bear to the culture around us. I don't mean that we're supposed to try to establish a theocratic government in America. That's not my goal at all. But the church has always, from Old Testament days till today, had a responsibility of prophetic criticism. You see the debate that rages over abortion on demand. And the complaint that I hear all the time is that the church has no right to speak to an issue like that because it's none of the church's business, because we have this idea of separation of church and state. Well, we do have a concept of the division of labors, that God instituted a church and gave a task to that institution to carry out in this world. He also instituted civil government. And civil government was instituted by God, and civil government is accountable to God. And its primary task is to protect and maintain the sanctity of human life. Now, when the state fails to do what God ordains it to do, the church not only has the right, but the church has the responsibility to tell the state, hey, we're not asking you to be the church, but we do want you to be the state and do what the state is supposed to do under God, to be a servant of righteousness, to maintain and protect the sanctity of human life. And don't think for a second that as a government or as a political body, you're autonomous. That's what's happened here. Our federal government has declared, as it were, independence from God. With this separation of state and church business, it now means separation of the state from God. Now, it's one thing to distinguish the church and the state. It's another thing to separate the state from God and say the state is not accountable to God. The state can do whatever it wants. The state is autonomous. That's a very serious matter, and Christians need to speak against that.